Hello everybody, this is me Quad, and today we'll be reviewing the Transformers Red Soundwave. Now I haven't really gone over too many 6-inch figures. I have done some 7-inch stuff, mainly being like NECA, stuff like that. I haven't really gotten to 7-inch figures, so this will be the video to do that. And Red Soundwave is an interesting thing because my opinion has changed on this figure a little bit since I got it. Way back when, because I bought this Soundwave right when Red was hitting stores and stuff like that, so that was quite a while back now. Might actually pick up the Shockwave, so you may see a video on that sometime soon, hopefully. But yeah, I will say the next two releases in Wave 2 felt shittier than him. I will just say that. I don't know how Optimus, Megatron feel. And I also don't know how that Starscream feels as well. Same thing with the Bumblebee. I don't own those. But I do know somebody who owns the Starscream. Gotta ask them to see how that feels. But yeah, this isn't... Well, this is Hasbro's first attempt at doing really posable... Well, no, not even. Because they had those robot replicas for the first movie. And second movie, I think. Which were like posable, non-transformable action figures. And then the Action Masters, if you go back counting that. But... yeah. But also Takara did have some attempts with the Mega SCF stuff like that, which I will say the red line has more in common with that line and the robot replicas than anything as far as Transformers related stuff, because it has the more modern action figure posability that like those robot replicas had. And because if I remember correctly, the posability on those were pretty decent, because that's the Bumblebee from the first movie they did, and it was pretty decent for what it was. It wasn't, the sculpting wasn't the best, but they did know how to engineer a figure. Like as far as the articulation goes, I remember that being pretty good on there. Whereas with the Mega SCFs, it's we'll get to reviewing one of those, because that would be the next one after this. But yeah, this plastic, it has a weird feel to it, but it's not gummy. Because the RC and Cheetor feel gummy. If the old Toy Biz Marvel Legends sometimes felt like that, how the RC does, whereas this, I don't know, it's like okay, if I bring in like a black suit, okay, this is a bad example. A G.I. Joe classified Cobra Bat here, and you just feel them, right? I think it's just the texture thing. This just feels better, but like they're still the same, like about like plastic quality wise. This has a little... No, it's about the same amount of give if you try to bend it. In the arms, got a little bit of bend there. So it is on here, but it's like not a crazy amount. I don't like how the neck is situated on this. His neck was poorly designed. Don't know if Optimus or anybody else was designed like that, but yeah. I know RC wasn't, and Cheetor weren't. Their necks were much better. Cheetor was marred just because he was just not the proper colors he needed to be. And then RC was just that was just a shitty designed figure, especially with the articulation in mind. So yeah, I did put a repo label on here just because the original Decepticon thing is okay. You can kind of see it back here. It's just painted purple. The white is only coming from the sticker. So, like, it was kind of hard to see Decepticon symbol, really. So, I just plopped a repo label that matched the size. And, yeah. It looks better, in my opinion. But, yeah. I'll go over articulation here. So, you can get some ankle tilt. You can technically get it a little bit further if you just pop it down ever so. So, you can get quite a bit more. But yeah, you got that. The legs can go about that far up, that far back. You got, yeah, that thigh swivel. You got a double jointed knee, as we can see there. So you can do more than 90. Double jointed elbow, both sides. And you do have a gimmick where you push that button and it opens up the cassette door. And he does come with a cassette, but it's non-transformable. It's Laserbeak. Pretty cool. So you put that in there and you can see it inside. And all that cool shit. Wish they painted blue here. That kind of does bug me. But yeah, oh, and one of the, yeah, he has the finger to do that. But he does come with a pair of alternate hands, being these fists. And it's pretty easy to swap them. You just pop that sucker out. Pop this sucker in. And there you go. You got fist instead of that. And oh yeah, the other accessories is his gun that he has in the hand, and that's also a trigger hand. And then this can come off. It's your shoulder cannon. Red and Mega SCF do have a tendency of having parts that don't really need to come off. You won't see that on the Mega SCF figure that I do have, because his parts actually do intentionally come off. Because we'll talk about more about that in that video, because I don't want to spoil what figure it is. But yeah, so yeah, remove that. We'll talk about the head. So the head is on a double ball peg, but there's no like actual fucking neck. So you could either get Soundwave jetting his head way too far forward, or like too far back. You have to play a game of like just finagling it, and then like that didn't look right. So then you gotta, like, what I find is you kind of have to do front first and see and hope it looks fine. And in this case, it still looks like it's a little bit too there we go. It's just a lot of finagling. I hate that fucking head. But aside from that, yeah. This back piece does come off. Serves absolutely no purpose, other than, I guess, to make a cleaner backpack. But like Cheetah has, I think the cheetah head comes off on the front. Doesn't really serve any purpose at all. And yeah, waist swivel, you can turn it 360, but yeah, don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah. Oh yeah, and then he has a very slight butterfly. It's I don't know if I can even call that a butterfly, really. Like, it does better back than it does forward, but like the back's not even that great. Because if we bring in the Cobra Bat, for example, right, you can get back pretty far, right? Whereas with Soundwave, you really can't notice that that's back. And then forward is pretty decent. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad. It's better than what Soundwave is pulling there, as you can see. And then I bring out a figure that could, if I just put him in neutral, the Renew Your Vow Spider-Man, his arm goes forward about the same as the bat. You can get it going back pretty good. And yeah. And I get why he doesn't have an ab crunch. Because you don't really have enough space there to allow for that without this gimmick here. But honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I think if they just widened the figure a little, you probably could have gotten both in. And I don't know if red figures really have an ab crunch, because I know the Cheetor does, but you can't really do it because of the cheetah head blocking everything. What's her face? RC doesn't. All pretty basic in that aspect of articulation. Like if I bring in like a Black Series figure, for example, this one doesn't have a ab crunch, but does have a diaphragm, which I think even if it just had one of them, it would have been fine. Granted, doing a diaphragm on this would be really fucking weird, because things that look like people are around, things that are robots aren't. So I think that'd be impossible doing a diaphragm on there. Don't quote me on that, because probably somebody's like, oh, I can do that, and then does it. But yeah, but definitely could have done an app crunch for sure. Like, that's just is what it is. I have mixed feelings about this, because on one way I do like what the red line's trying to do, but on the other hand, like, there's just something about the look of this, right? Now, this clone's not a great comparison, because it's mostly white, and you got some painted stuff on here, but it's not the best comparison, but like, I think it still gets the point across. Like, it just looks more premium than this. This has a weird look to it. And also, the gray's technically not even cartoon accurate. If you want to go cartoon accurate, it's white. And then we got the Renew Your Vow Spider-Man, which, like, this red here is painted red. The blue on the arms is painted blue. All the webs painted on there. Stuff like that. And then, like, the eyes are painted, of course. I don't know. I think the blue in the back's painted, yeah. Because it's the same as the torso. Torso is the blue painted. And this figure looks more premium than this. And then bringing in the regular Cobra Bat, even it using its basic colors, looks more premium. Granted, that's mostly due to the sculpting on here, and also just the presence it has. And even if I bring its more goofier repaint, it still looks more premium. And I think that's the problem with red. For how the figures look and turn out, they don't feel like they're worth the amount that they're charging. And I think if Hasbro just uses more paint on these, honestly, instead of using mostly just flat plastics. And then also, another thing I would recommend them doing too, in the future, is maybe use more like metallics or stuff like that, just to give it different quality to it. And then, like, with the B-Source figures, I did like the adding the texture and stuff, but it's not really accurate to the source material, because like I don't know what Red's trying to do, if it's trying to be accurate to the source material or if it's trying to do its own thing. It's just all over the fucking place, and it's just kind of like, what the hell, but it is what it is. And yeah, anyways, this has been me, Qua. I recommend if you're a Soundwave fan, or if you just want to try out Red, because for Wave 1, he's definitely the best out of Wave 1. He's the only one I have from Wave 1. But from what I hear from other sentiments from other people, is that Soundwave is definitely the best from Wave 1. By far. And then Wave 2, the best out of those two shits is Cheetor. Wave 3, I don't have any figures from Wave 3. But I imagine the knockout's probably better than the Prime. Then the Wave 4, which is... Oh, Wave 3 also had Primal, forgot. Or is that Wave 4? No, yeah, Primal and Starscream and Bumblebee are Wave 3. Wave 4, I think, was Knockout and fucking Magnus. And then Wave 5, which is the current wave, has... what's his name? Shockwave Galvatron in there. And the Shockwave looks fucking chef's kiss. Galvatron, his face looks a little funny, but aside from that, he actually looks pretty good. But the Shockwave doesn't suffer from so much, but the Galvatron does have a very toy look, which like this one has, for example. Where Shockwave just looks more premium, but I've only seen him a couple of times, so maybe if I have him in hand, it'll be different, because I can see the whole damn thing. But, yeah. Anyways, been me, Qua, signing out here. Peace.